Hi, Dr. Goldstein. This is Therese from your Curriculum 505 class presenting her first and perhaps only vlog on our final project, which happened to be an in-depth discussion and study of media coverage involving school violence and school shootings, focusing particularly on Columbine and Sandy Hook, but then broadening out to modern media coverage of how it's affecting our educational system. Particularly looking at blogs and blog posts and how bloggers are discussing this topic online, and what's being said, what isn't being said, and so on. And it was actually a really interesting discussion, a very interesting battle that's kind of taking place right now. There really doesn't seem to be like a dichotomy of sides. It's more everyone shouting together and kind of fumbling at each other in the middle of this huge field of the internet. People throwing things, saying things, whatever they think it, would make the other person the most angry, or it could be the most incendiary. But there's a lot of blame going on, not a lot of productive discussion about how to fix the problem. A lot of people criticizing and critiquing others who have had ideas that are, for whatever reason, not viable, whether they be ridiculous, just because they won't work, or whatever reason it conflicts with the blogger's opinion about how things should be done. It's, again, a lot of scapegoating, but not a lot of productive discussion. So the other problem is that, in the way of solutions, there's not much to be said. There are a few people who postulate a couple of different possibilities, but they're all dealing primarily with subsets. And from my research and everything that I've learned about this topic, it doesn't seem to be simply a issue that is focused on one particular area. It's not just teachers, it's not just the school system, it's not just the government, it's not just guns, it's not just the community, it's everything all together actively creating a culture of misery that is affecting our students, especially those who have behavioral and emotional issues. So they're not getting the kind of support that they need, and as a result, they feel like they have nowhere to turn. And for some people, for people who have normal emotional health, they're not worried about having these kinds of problems that these other kids have. They handle it reasonably well. But people who are a little less stable, they don't. And so you have situations like Columbine that happen, that occur, and it's quite sad and tragic when it does occur. But it's indicative of a larger problem. A couple of the articles that I read that made valid points were saying that students often feel like they're just a cog in a system that doesn't care about them. And from my own personal experiences, unfortunately, I've had that happen where it's felt like you're just a number, you're a statistic, you are a demographic, and once you leave, someone exactly like you will replace you in the same desk, in the same spot, and doing the same things the next year. And there really isn't that personal amount of care that's involved, when learning about what students need. And that's something that's majorly not discussed at all online. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind, that this is something that's also a solution to the problem. We need to start thinking more about our students, start thinking less about policy. I mean, policy is going to change the system, yeah, sure, but we haven't really discussed at all how our students are feeling lately. We don't really take a gut check and say, okay, is the system meeting our students' needs? A lot of times we're just saying, well, the problem is school violence, so we need to fix school violence. But really, it's a matter of the students. So I think that that's something that I've taken away from this project, that there's just not much out there in the way of discussion about what's going to fix it. It's a matter of, discussing who's to blame, once again, to just summarize a little bit what I said before, which is a shame, because I think that, the internet being a powerful tool, it can do a lot to kind of bring us all together and have us all have that really important collaborative discussion about what would work. But unfortunately, you know, it's just not happening at this time, which is a shame. So that's really all I wanted to say, and I'm just about the 5-minute mark here. I wanted to express my thanks for giving me a really awesome experience in your class this semester, and I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to be your student and to learn from you. And I wish you a restful and happy break, and I hope to see you again in the future, hopefully maybe for field work. So thank you again for all that you've done this semester, and I hope that we'll see each other soon. Okay? Thanks so much.